Hello and welcome to AFL Podcasts, the home of objective, up-to-date and independent reporting on Turkey. Don't forget to follow our reports through social media, on aflnews.com or through our mobile app. Let's get started.
Hello, this is Yavuz Baydar, Editor-in-Chief of Ahval News Online. Let me give a few points of commentary about the violent incident today targeting the main opposition leader, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu. It points out to a severe escalation of the tension in Turkey. The leader of the Turkey's secularist main opposition, Republican People's Party, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, attended today at a military funeral in Ankara. It was the funeral of a 26-year-old infantryman, Yener Kırıkçı, who was one of the 4 Turkish soldiers killed on Friday during an military operation against Kurdish militants, PKK militants, in Turkey's border with Iraq, apparently in Hakkari province. The details and the footage from the funeral ceremony, which was attended by Defense Minister Hulusi Akar, and also some other dignitaries from the AKP, and with the high security cortege that surrounded the mosque yard. This was a picture of a highly tense situation that has been on the rise, a sort of a microcosm, a snapshot of Turkey today. And first, we see through the footage that Kılıçdaroğlu was booed by a group of people, apparently a lynch mob. Some, according to claims, say that it was well-prepared provocation. We still have no confirmation about that, whether it was spontaneous or organized or premeditated. This mob attacks Kılıçdaroğlu afterwards, after the ceremony, as he was preparing to leave. And then violence occurs and chaos erupts. And thanks to some gendarmerie and army officers and some party people, Kılıçdaroğlu receives a number of blows, maybe kicks and fists, but he's under chaotic circumstances, led out of the mob, saved from the mob, and takes shelter in a house. House is surrounded by the mob, shouting, burn the house, slogans like that, and stays there for a while. Meanwhile, Defense Minister Hulusi Akar takes the microphone and says, the message is taken, now you can disperse, which of course led to a severe criticism from the opposition, because apparently what happened was unlawful from A to Z, from the beginning to the end. And finally, the leader of the CHP was taken out to the party headquarters in Ankara in an armored army car or police car. What does this all mean? Of course, the reactions continue, and worth to note that this incident took place as the elected incumbent mayor of Istanbul, Ekrem İmamoğlu, of the same party, of CHP, was addressing a huge crowd in Istanbul at the same time. So this is important detail. And then the reactions to it will continue, apparently, because this is certainly a kerosene to the fire of the polarization, which has been triggered by the uncertainties after the local elections and dragging process, particularly about Istanbul. So this is the background. Why is this happening? This has been clearly against the background of the local elections, as I said. The Istanbul result has been pending, leading to tension and rage within the opposition bloc, centrist opposition bloc, CHP and E-Party bloc, whereas the AKP ministers and also top figures are, for a long time now, for more than 18, 19 days, escalating rhetoric against the CHP and its leadership, using anti-HDP, anti-Kurdish elements, fueling the rage and causing a lot of uncertainty and concern about whether or not Turkey will be able to open the door to some sort of normalization, even in a minimal sense. So the process of Istanbul is, as I said, pending, and we shall find out about the results earliest on Monday. That is 22nd of April. That is tomorrow as I speak. Today it's Sunday afternoon. But indications are that this process may drag days, even weeks, because the material in the appeals, extraordinary appeals process, as it is called, presented by the AKP against the results of Istanbul and against the choice of İmamoğlu as the mayor, is huge. It's more than 3 or 4 luggages. So the documents that are presented will take time to go through. And in any case, on Monday, the AKP representative of the Supreme Electoral Board will present his case, party's case, whereafter we will see whether or not Supreme Electoral Board, alleged to be under severe, intense pressure by the AKP leadership and by the palace, will be able to speed up the process, will be able to act independently, or let it drag for a while more. But it's clear that the more time passes, the more tension rises. In any case, in this context, also it can be said that today's incident, violent incident and attack, lynch attempt against the main opposition leader, was a result of the escalation. Patience is running out because, according to opposition, it's a, to use an American word, slam dunk case for Ekrem İmamoğlu, the young upcoming rising star of the CHP. But it is also clear that the opposition bloc, nation alliance, composed of CHP and E-Party, are also under severe increasing attack by the partner or ally of Erdogan, Mr. Devlet Bahçeli, leader of the nationalist MHP party. And hours prior to the funeral incident, Bahçeli had a very intense speech, calling openly for confrontation, declaring that repeat elections are necessary, because it has to do with the existence of the republic, which is taken as a comment, clear indication, signal that the High Supreme Electoral Board will not be able to act independently or autonomously as it was expected by the opposition. Also, the country's controversial Minister of Interior, Süleyman Soylu, is under fire because he is on record saying some months ago that CHP representatives would never be allowed to the funerals of the killed, slain soldiers of the Turkish armed forces. And he said openly that he had given orders to the local authorities not to allow them, permit them, these opposition representatives to the funeral ceremonies and prayers. So as a result, what can we say about the overall situation? Well, first of all, it is yet another episode of a country, Turkey, where the crisis of the system in all aspects, economic, cultural, social, political, deepening further, becoming almost unsolvable, making, as a consequence, Turkey ungovernable. The scenery today at the funeral was of chaos, witnessed even by the ministers themselves. This is chaotic. And also, in addition, we can say that the messages conveyed by Erdogan in the recent days of softening, cooling the things, quote unquote, will not be perceived as sincere after today's incident. All indications are, apart from the messages sent out by Devlet Bahçeli, the leader of the small ally of the AKP, that the AKP leadership is at a watershed, but the sources insist to Ahval that a repeat election for the greater Istanbul municipality is a much higher probability than otherwise, meaning that President Erdogan and his close circle is leaning towards forcing through a process where there will be a repeat election, taking, of course, much higher risks than otherwise. In any case, the watershed means that no matter what his choices will be, whether or not letting go of Istanbul or not letting go of Istanbul, quote unquote, Erdogan's path will never be the same as before. So this is what we can summarize about the today's events, what they mean, why they happened, and what may happen after this. We will continue to monitor the situation as Ahval. This is Yavuz Baydar talking to you through Ahval Pod series, Hot Pursuit. Thank you.